What is up, everybody? SDFC bros. Welcome back to another match review. Carlos, we are feeling really, really good.
Amazing, man.
Last week we were really good, now we're really good. Why is that?
San Diego is now going to the Western Conference Finals.
They just keep going, man. You know that one song? Have you ever seen Garfield before?
Yeah.
Where like he's making lasagna or something like that, and he's like, moving on up. We're just moving on
that song,
up.
but that's crazy.
It's
Yeah,
a banger.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a banger. We might get copyright actually because of that. But
You're singing so well.
But we're moving on up. We are in the Western Conference Finals, and we play Vancouver. We play Thomas Muller in the final for the Western Conference. So big game. But we're here to talk about the Western Conference semifinal that happened last night on Monday. And man, what a game. I think the build up to the game was everything that we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, I keep trying to wake up and wake myself up like it wasn't real. Like it's just it doesn't.
I couldn't go to sleep last night.
Yeah, it feels so surreal.
Right.
I mean, I think not only with just, I mean, man, if you're a San Diegan, man, this is something that you wanted. If you're a San Diegan who's Mexican or Italian or any other culture who has grown up on soccer, this is everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah, I wanna open up with the quote that Mikey Vada said after the game.
Go ahead.
And he said, and this was something that you brought to my attention. Mikey Vada said this after the game versus Minnesota. He said the narrative that we're a less of a blue-collar team or less hardworking team is garbage. This club is founded on hard work and ambition, which is the foundation of San Diego. There's so many San Diegans that have to work hard and make massive sacrifices to live here, and that's what we want to represent on the field. That alone, that gets me pumped. That gets me fired up. And it's like, I can't imagine what, I want to be a fly on the wall in that locker room to just hear these talks for Mikey Vadas.
Well, yeah, I think that's not scripted. You know what I'm saying? That's not scripted. That's a mentality that has been instilled in this team from day one.
Yeah.
And the way that if you watch the interview, the way that it just flows off is exactly what this club has been trying to represent from day one of even being here.
Yeah.
And he says it perfectly. I think every one of us who have lived and loved San Diego know what it means to be a San Diegan and be compared to or seen as less than, or not compared to Los Angeles or all these bigger teams, or not bigger cities.
Big cities, right.
But when you come here to San Diego, you know that this place is special,
right.
And you know that it's worth living here. It's worth striving to be part of San Diego culture and the people. And like he says, there's so many San Diegans. I know my family, your family, all of us. We complain about the money. We complain about how much we're getting paid, or how hard it is to live here. But we wouldn't trade this place for anything in the world.
Agree.
We fight, and we, as San Diegans, we wake up every day to live in this city because it's so important to us.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that he's saying this and saying this is what I've instilled in this team, to fight for this city and to move and show this is rewarding for us. If my fans have to wake up every morning to be happy to live here, then my team should show up every single day and work as hard as them. And
it's brilliant, man.
It's magical.
No teleprompter, no nothing.
No.
That's coming from his heart, and it's he's not even from here. His wife is from San Diego and everything like that. So that's his connection to it. But it's this guy, but for me, he's just as San Diego as all of us.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I think that's something we continue to talk about every time is being San Diegan is a little bit more than just being born here. San Diego has a very, very, very captivating way of
it pulls you in, man.
Pulling you in. It's just it's you're not from here, but then you be here for a year and then you're just oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And I want to be here, and you become a San Diegan just by being San Diegan means you're not from here.
Right.
It means you're part of something bigger, but you're bringing that part of something bigger, and you're bringing it to benefit all of us here in San Diego.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's exactly what Mikey Vada says. I mean, it's exactly what this team feels, I'm sure, is just the moment that they're from here. Luca De La Torre even said it when we interviewed him. He goes, I grew up here in San Diego, and I've got to travel all over the world, but coming back here just reminds you how amazing of a city this really is compared to all the other cities that I've been to.
Yeah.
It's just
no, that's 100% right. And it's it goes back to, conversations that we were having, with Esteban, the goalkeeper, right? Who's going to be the new coach? Who do we want? I was saying Maurizio Sarri. People were saying Klopp and everything like that. I would not trade Mikey Varas for the world.
Right.
I would not trade him for the world. I think he is the perfect coach that I want, that reflects not only, myself, but the city, the community, and he is someone exactly who I want in the locker room, on the coach's bench, and just literally just having, just his hands over this whole operation.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a
Yeah.
better. You ask for time and time again of like when you hear about like great teams like Milan, Barcelona, there's these stories of
Yeah.
these coaches or these somebody
Right.
important, these presidents who believed so much in their team. Mikey Varas is
I
that
agree.
story.
I
It's that
agree.
is, and you couldn't have asked for anything better. He has implemented a system in San Diego that is going to be generational. Historically, there are going to be teams when I'm
Yeah, when you're an
old
old
gray
ass
that
grandpa.
who are going to be looking
Yeah.
back at Mikey Varas like what
First coach,
first coach,
right.
what was instilled, what is, and it's going to be player after player like instilling those values that you
100%.
once had. I mean, Milan has those values.
right.
Barcelona, my Chivas have that values, and we're seeing the beginning of these values that are going to be core principles through a generation of San
100%.
Diego FC.
100%. Yeah. So that was just something I wanted to open up the podcast with, because I think that just reflects this game as a whole. This was a hard, gritty, like dirty, nasty game. Like not, with fouls and everything like that,
No.
but it was one of those where you just had to, there was a dry ass towel, but you just needed one drop
Right.
to just get in there. And I think we did exactly that. So let's actually get into the game
Yeah,
right
let's get
now.
into it.
So leading up to this, I was really anxious. I was like really anxious, but I was really, hyped for the game.
Right.
I was optimistic. I was like, I think we could get a good result in this, right? And I think, we could really take the game to Minnesota. And I feel like we did exactly that. Let's start off with the lineups. And this was something that I think was interesting, because obviously Dreyer was feeling a little bit sick before, so then reports were coming out, oh, he's not going to play, and then Chucky got injury
Injured,
with
yeah.
the national team and everything like that. So we go Cisniega in goal, Pilcher at that right back spot, which we'll get into him later because that guy's a monster, dude. McVeigh, Dua, Bombino complete the back four, Valakari, Yepe, and Godoy, which again, we'll get into him later because he had a great game as well. Dreyer on the right, Bayer down the middle, and Pellegrino on the left. This, I think, was a little bit concerning because people were saying, oh, maybe we do get Chucky, because we did know Minnesota were going to sit back. So how are we going to kind of complement that, or rather compete against that
Right.
low block in that back five? And I mean, man, back five, that is just absolutely like disgusting.
Right.
That shit.
I mean, it's your favorite type of football.
Not my favorite. I'm more of a back three
Yeah.
shifting to a back
Yeah,
five
yeah.
in it. But regardless, yeah, I think this was a game where it's like we kind of knew that we had to just really grind out this result. And just real quick, I wanted to list off the stats real quick. Minnesota had less than 200 passes, by the way, the whole game.
Hey, that's
and
what you get from Haram ball.
And yeah, Haram ball, exactly. So kind of getting into that, what were your kind of like thoughts like going into the game, and then how were your reactions on Minnesota's style of play?
Yeah, no, I think as I dove a little bit deeper into, there was a long period of
Yeah,
waiting.
we were talking a lot last week.
There was a long time waiting for this game, but I kind of dove in a little bit more, just like analyzing how we played Minnesota last time, and how Minnesota has come to actually play
Right.
and get to these playoffs. Which again, by the way, all praise to Minnesota, because
Yeah,
they
big credit.
they are playing a different style of soccer, which is really interesting. And for them in the future, like it is going to be, you know what I'm saying, it's going to blow the league up, you know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying, because like these different styles of play and everything are exactly what we need in MLS, where you really you got to switch things up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
play in a competitive way. But credit to Minnesota all the way,
Yeah.
because as much as somebody who doesn't like that type of soccer playing or anything like that, you did what you needed to do.
Yeah.
You did exactly what you needed to do, and you come this far doing that. So props to Minnesota
Yeah.
completely. But I hate it.
agree.
I hate that style.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to do that. But I mean, you can't hate
Right,
something
right.
that's doing great. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shouts out. So it's like
Yeah.
knowing Minnesota, and I mean, just the trust that they had in themselves to maybe get free kicks or throw-ins
Yeah.
to capitalize on them throughout this whole season as something that they did. But that's what we were afraid of. We were worried that Minnesota was going to do that, and we just knew Minnesota was going to play that low block. And damn, If they are the best defensive team
Yeah,
in
hands
MLS.
down.
Like, my props to you, because you, like,
They were organized, they were disciplined, like they were just on the money. Boom, boom, boom. Like that back five, bro. I was having nightmares once
right,
I
no,
went to sleep
exactly,
about
no,
that.
it's just it is so hard, and
Yeah.
it just it sucks for you guys, but it really is just like amazing, what's it called? And that's something that I was like, we saw just pure football game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A amazing soccer game of just like tactic, like just one of those games where it's just like it's just
Everybody in the stadium was glued into this game because of just how like the tactics were on display for this game.
yeah. And like I was trying to tell some of my coworkers, like, you know, especially some people who like rarely see soccer, they, because of this game, you know, San Diego has had the luxury of scoring a lot of goals and it making it exciting. But I feel like a lot of people looked at soccer in a different lens because of this game. Because obviously it's a semifinal and you want to look at it, and people who are barely going into MLS are looking at, they're like, oh, I understand now why a 1-0 actually can be attractive.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, a lot of people who were like, I mean, there's some people behind us who are like not really, you know, fans or anything like that, but they were even saying like, wow, this
Right.
game is so just like locked in, and this and you fell in love with a different version of
Yeah,
soccer.
yeah.
And thank you, Minnesota, for giving that as well. No, like realistically,
Right.
like we were able to experience a very, really good, a battle of two titans.
Yeah, we've been throwing that narrative all week where it was like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Right, exactly.
Right, and that's exactly what this game was. SD just constantly, you know, just trying to break this lock. And we made the analogy where you're like, it's like when Nicolas Cage wants to go steal the Declaration of Independence.
Of course.
It's plausible.
It's possible.
It's possible. It is very,
Very,
difficult
very
to do.
hard to do. But one
So-
man did do it.
Yeah, one man did do it.
Nicolas Cage and Anders Dreyer.
There you go, Dryer. So yeah, so I wanted to throw this this visual on the screen real quick, and I'll show it to you. So this was their starting formation. It actually started as a 4-4-2, but in transition, look how condensed in the middle Minnesota was, because
Right.
they knew damn well if we give SD the space in the middle, they will kill us. And that's exactly what they did, and they just defended in
crazy.
compact
Yeah.
numbers, and you just see that exactly. So I just wanted to kind of throw that up
No,
there
no,
because
no.
that's exactly what the game was
We were
looking
literally
like.
smothered, and I
Yeah.
just said I can't even be mad at it. It was just beautiful defensive soccer.
Yeah,
No
As
way.
an Italian, I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I was very impressed on how disciplined these guys were and just how organized out the back. Like constantly, SD gets possession, boom, Minnesota fall back five, try to pass us.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what it felt like. But right, first half, right, it was kind of a little back and forth. SD with, you know, some half chances here and there. No, Pellegrino missed like a really, really good chance to put us up in that first half. But you know, it's one of those where it's like, okay, we could break this lock. It's about how clinical can we be in this. But in the defensive end of the game, the defense pulled their weight. Really happy with a clean sheet as well. And someone who I think contributed to that 100%, Ian Pilcher.
100%.
Hands down, best performance in a San Diego FC shirt, and way to do it in a high-intense game, in a big match where there's a lot of implications in this, right? Where, again, win or go home, right? And you're in front of the fans as well. Goal line save. Unreal. And in watching the replays back, he almost handballed it, right? Where it's like he had to like plant his hands on the
Exactly.
ground, but he was composed enough to kind of understand, let's kind of stay calm a little bit, and then he booted out of there.
No, I think exactly what you're saying. I think San Diego is just so lucky to have two people like Ian Pilcher and Manu Dua that we got from the college level.
Yeah, bro.
Like that is insane. And
Unreal.
again, if we talked about how Minnesota is going to change MLS, so is San Diego.
Yeah.
The fact that these two giants now
Yeah.
come from college level is just opening up more doors for college
Huge.
athletes and everything. But again, Ian Pilsner coming from college, signing up for his first professional team,
Yeah.
San Diego FC, and then stepping into a role that he was
not
not the first
comfortable
choice.
in,
No,
right,
it was
right,
not
right.
the first choice, was not the second, was the third choice, and putting on a performance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like you said,
This was like a legacy game.
a legacy game, and
Yeah.
and just like we've known this,
Right,
this.
yeah.
Just a-
We've talked to Ian a couple times,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
just a strong, composed,
Right.
you know, what's it called? But the reality is, like, today was those games where it's like, I am not going to let
Right.
this big thing like I'm just gonna show up to the occasion.
Right. He didn't let the occasion overlook the
No,
the
exactly. And
performance.
he showed up exactly, and like you said, with a save that is going to be in generation
Yeah.
San Diego
Oh,
FC
yeah.
history. Just amazing, and like you said, the confidence to save it and just still stay very calm
Mm-hmm.
and composed in a situation where we've heard that the field was dirty, complaint, like all of it. He
Yeah, that's
slipped
another
as
thing.
on his way up, but still just composed in it. Just man,
Yeah.
Ian.
That those are one of those things where it's like, you can't read a book and like learn that. You know what I mean? That's pure instinct to kind of know and understand, okay, is this player going to take a shot? And I mean, right place, right time.
No, and exactly, and like I said, it helps tremendously that Mikey Vadas is their coach.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't instill a level of that you can't do. He says, no, you're going to do, and you're going to do it great. And whoever he puts in that, whoever starts, whoever doesn't start, whoever shows into the pitch, jumps in with that mindset
Right.
completely. And Ian Pilsner showed up to the occasion, and I feel bad for whoever was competing for right back because I think Ian.
Man, you got a lot to compete with.
Against now because Ian has shown so much tenacity and
Yeah.
energy and just.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
player. Yeah, what a player.
But shout out to our defense side as well as Cisniega.
Yeah, Cisniega, again, I
Stepping
just
up in
wanted to, before we move on to Cisniega as well, Ian, just after every tackle, every challenge, just every single little bit of just little action that he got, right back up, and he's like pumped up. He's like yelling, screaming in the opposition face. That's what I love to see. That is what I love to see. But Cisniega, man, slipped on the sand right there. I think it was a little bit like later into the first half, right towards the end, but slips on the sand. That SDSU, bro, never again. That never ever has to happen. Where SDSU play a game, and what was it? They played on Saturday. We played on Monday.
Yeah.
No way. I do not ever want that to happen. Where there's one day where they try to fix this pitch, and I come into Snapdragon Stadium and I see that garbage.
No.
Never again. So big credit to Cisniega. Slipped on that sand and still made a monster save.
Massive save.
Massive save. Because
No,
at that point, it would have been 1-0 if they do put that away. And then, we're talking about a whole different scenario.
No, I agree. But I just, man, yes, Cisniega did amazing. This whole team did. But I do want to just, again, give Ian his flowers, man. Just MVP. I think he deserved every bit of that.
I agree.
He was the unsung hero.
I think he was the
like,
best player on the pitch last night.
like just full of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just shout out
But
Ian,
again,
bro.
with Cisniega, 2 clean sheets in the last 2 playoff
Exactly.
games, which is and 2 massive playoff games at that. Because versus Portland, again, it was a win or go home, so they had just as much to play for with San Diego as well. And then in this game as well, win or go home.
Right.
Minnesota, regardless of their style of play, to be fair, they had not only more shots than us, they had more shots on target than us. So just to kind of clarify that real quick.
Right.
So Cisniega did have to come up big in a couple occasions. And I mean, this one in particular was one of the best saves that I think I've seen him make, bar none.
100%.
I mean, minus the one last game versus Portland.
No,
Again,
exactly.
another goal line save. So yeah, it just goes to show kind of where this level is at for these guys. They're locked in. They're ready to go. And defensively, we're at a point where I'm more than happy with. Because,
I agree.
again, remember, the beginning of the season, I was saying, oh, defense this, defense that. I want to prioritize defending. And at this point in the season, I'm so happy with
I
the
think
development of the defense.
100%. It was one of those things that we talked about. It's like, oh, we push up too high, but we don't know how to come back. And having a Mountain Dew, Chris McVeigh, Ian Bombino have just perfected.
Yeah, bro. They got a nice little connection going. So yeah, I'm really happy with kind of how the defense has been playing in the later stages of this season. So second half, right? Let's go to the second half a little bit. I feel like this was kind of
that
one.
was all in the second half.
Yeah. Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Ian save and Cisniega save was
Oh,
all
you're right. Oh my God. It's just that game felt so long.
Yeah.
It felt so long. So yes, you are right. So that was in the second half. And you kind of did see in the second half, Minnesota did kind of start to press because I think they kind of realized, okay, maybe we could get something in this half to kind of, get over the line a little bit. And I mean, with how they were playing, and I think SDFC kind of were able to kind of unlock the game a little bit because they started to press, they started to attack. And SDFC, you saw a couple times on the counterattack, they were looking a little threatening. But I think that way just wasn't where we were going to score in. And the Donnie that I was sitting next to, I just, I was like, what do you think SDFC got to do to kind of unlock this game a little bit? You know what he said? He said, I think we just got to be patient. And I was like, fucking hell, you know, you're
you're
kind of right. And at that point, it was literally right before I asked that, right? He was like, I think we just need to stay patient, kind of just wait for pockets to kind of open up in the box a little bit. And just as long as we stay in the final third, right, in their kind of half, then we can, I think, unlock this game. And literally moments after, ball in from Yepe deep.
It actually starts all the way back from Cisniega, by the way.
Yeah. We had a good little chunk of possession.
It goes Cisniega, Dua,
Yeah.
and then from there Yepe. Yeah.
Yepe puts in a nice little ball over the top, in behind Bayard, bro. This is unreal. Back heel pass, and Dreyer just smashes that into the top right corner. What were your kind of thoughts going into that?
Well, I was robbed of my experience because Vince screams offside.
I thought it was offside.
Yeah, and so then immediately it's like, oh, this is scary. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, like the offside doesn't happen,
Yeah.
and it's just complete experience, just amazing. And I think everything just happened the way it needed to happen,
Yeah.
and it was bound to happen some way. But I will say this, and credit to Minnesota all the way. You had to have us do something
Very
exceptional,
difficult, yeah.
raw, crazy,
Yeah.
not gonna happen again in a long time.
The stars had to
line
align.
for something so
Right.
abnormal for us to score against
Yeah.
you. So don't be upset because you guys played defensively
Yeah.
as much as you guys could, but no, you're never expecting a Breyer
Yeah,
to just do it like that. Was just.
I will say though, you do see Bayard at times having those little flicks
Of
and
course,
you know
but
that little
that just-
flair, but that is just a whole nother level. A first time pass, by
Right.
the way. It doesn't bounce.
No.
It's on the first over the top, and then just to think, okay, I know Dreyer is behind me. All I gotta do is just put in a ball that's a peach of
Right.
a ball. And he just
and
has
it
it.
has to just fall slowly.
Yeah.
And then not only that, Dreyer hits it with such
Yeah.
force
Yeah.
that the goalie can, like, it's not even like your goalie didn't even get a hand to
Yeah,
it. Like,
like Neuer ain't saving that.
no,
like
it just,
Donnarumma was not
it was just
saving
like,
that.
so all
yeah.
of it, like, if we didn't have a goal like that, we wouldn't have scored. You
I
know what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, Minnesota had us locked.
Yeah.
They really did. And something was going to happen too, but it was either going to come from a mistake or some random luck of the, like,
Yeah,
like,
I think
there's not, I wouldn't say luck because it wasn't luck.
I think you said it best. Something exceptional
Right.
had to happen for us to put that ball in the back of the net, and that is probably one of SDFC's best, like, kind of team goals that we've
100%.
seen. Right, we see a lot of the times where, you know, we start in the back and we kind of play with possession a little bit, but this one was just one of those where, like, that, yeah. It's exceptional, like how you were saying. So, and at that point, right, this was, you know, moments where we're like, all right, we got the goal. Now what is this game going to hold? Because I didn't know if Minnesota was going to try to hit us out on the counter. Were they going to stay a little bit more
Right.
defensive, right? So I was a little worried about how we kind of managed this situation because it was the 72nd minute. So there's still, you know, a good chunk of
and then
game
Chucky
left.
comes in as well too.
Chucky comes in, so we're
And
like,
Vartan comes in.
Yeah, Chucky and Vartan comes in. So then, you know, we were talking when that sub happened. We're like, okay, now Vartan comes in. He's probably gonna do one of those flick on headers to kind of put Chucky and Dreyer in behind. So, but I think it was just one of those where we kind of did play a little bit more defensive, but I think we had to at that point to kind of
I agree.
to just understand the situation. I mean, I was really confident with how the defense held out for the rest of the game.
No, I agree, and I think just to your point, the issue with Minnesota is that you're playing this level of game. You know what I'm saying? Where it's
Like they're playing a defensive style.
defensive
right.
style. And something that needs to be instilled is if you do get scored on whatever minute, you have to just go and balls to the wall. But
Yeah.
Minnesota didn't seem to react,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate for them because one of the biggest things about playing that defensive is if that other team scores and it is late, we have now ruined the. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it is a hard transition. And something like if you are going to be that defensive team, you have to be ready to just turn it on as fast as you can. And Minnesota were too slow to do that,
Certainly.
unfortunately. And it just didn't happen. Nothing moved forward, and that was it. And I think we still even had a lot more possession by the end of that game.
Yeah, we had 68% possession.
Yeah, and it just looked like Minnesota got lost. And what's the
game plan now?
What we weren't expecting this, which
Right.
they should have at a certain point, but you know they just get thrown out of the water, and unfortunately they come up short. But that's what you kind of get from Harambal.
Yeah, no kidding. Because it was at that point, because it's like we were even talking like during the game when that goal happened and we were kind of reacting, kind of see what Minnesota would do. We were talking about how we're like, Minnesota looks like they're up a goal, not us.
Right.
So it's like we were a little confused about like what their angle is for this game. So it was kind of just like one of those. But man, I think we did well to close out the game. And at that point, right, Snapdragon was just a party. Everyone was hyped. The SD claps and everything like that were going around. And I mean, yeah, it was just a complete like spectacle of a game, and I'm more than happy with how it turned out. But any kind of closing thoughts and statements before we move on to the preview of the final?
No, I think it's just, I mean, it was just a wonderful game, a wonderful atmosphere. Everybody showing out, like, just clap after claps, like, cheering, just loudness. It was one of those games, man, just one of those games that you had to see for the first, you know what I'm saying, live it, be in that moment. And I think we were just very lucky to have a beautiful soccer game last night here in San Diego. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Because even I remember, like, even like the team wasn't like as like cheering at the crowd along or everything until like everybody took it seriously. Everybody was, you know, locked in, and finally it unlocked itself. And after that, it was just magic on wheels. So
yeah, definitely 100% agree with that. So let's preview our next game versus Vancouver, the Western Conference final. Trophy on the line here, and this is going to be a great game.
Right.
Because I think it's now, you're not playing a defensive side. You're not playing a team that's just going to sit back and kind of be content with defending the whole game. Of
course not.
This is a team that's going to attack. This is a team that's going to challenge you in the defensive phase of the game while also like in the midfield battle. And before we do move on, I wanted to remind myself, Anibal Godoy had a
100%.
sensational game as well. I thought he was a pivotal piece in this game to really dictate that midfield battle. So I wanted to give my flowers to Anibal Godoy. I think this was one of his best games in an SDFC shirt.
No, I agree with you completely. Like it just held the defense so well, so complacent, so just forward thinking. I mean, coming out from Panama, I think qualifying for the World Cup.
That's right.
So very exciting.
Yeah, congrats to him.
He's very excited. He's, you know, like just ready to give his all, and he really did as much as he could, and just kept going. And again, just, I mean, we just are so lucky. And Yepe, man, God, Yepe too. Also, we have to give his flowers. Like, just the unsung hero of this team forever and always will be. Just somebody that I think is going to be a really rock star here in MLS, or even making it into, like, I think a lot of people are sleeping in on him, but I think with the stats, and if you look into him with the stats,
13 assists.
Right, no, with the stats that he has in ball time and passes, he is contention to be one of the best midfielders in all of MLS.
I agree. I don't think that's ridiculous to say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we moved on, I wanted to give my flowers to
exactly.
Godoy,
I agree.
I forgot. But yeah, so let's actually get into the preview for the next game versus Vancouver. So Vancouver did beat LAFC, right? And in a game that was pretty crazy, right? Vancouver was up 2-0. Sun bring back LAFC, and I mean, look, is it me or are LAFC a little Sun dependent? I don't know, but that's irrelevant to the conversation. But regardless of the fact is, Vancouver go through on penalties. They beat LAFC, and kind of late drama at the end of the game where one of their players got a second yellow card, resulting into a red. So he is going to miss this game versus San Diego FC, starting center back.
I think there's another guy who got a red card too, no? Did they not get two? Okay.
No, I think someone got injured and they're out for the next game.
That's it,
So that's what it was. But, yeah, so it was one of those where, you know, they're going to have two potential starters out for the next game. But, I mean, I think at that point, it's like, I don't even think, like, you think about that.
No,
at
you
that
don't.
point. Like, I think every single one of these players on Minnesota, or excuse me, Vancouver, are going to be dialed in for this game.
And
just
their
as much
subs as well, yeah.
And they got subs. And I think the kind of turning factor is Thomas Muller.
Of course.
At the end of the day, this is someone who's completed football, World Cup, trebles, you name it,
Leagues.
He's won it, this guy. So I think that is going to be another big factor in this game as well. And I think this is going to be one that's going to be back and forth. Both teams are going to want to attack and really instill their style of play in this game.
100%.
What are your thoughts leading into this match?
I agree. Well, first off, I think, and I hate to say this right now, but I think one of our biggest oppositions and the biggest team that we played was Minnesota. So I think, you know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be a little bit easier for San Diego to fit in their, what's it called? I think Minnesota was our hardest game in this whole series. I'm going to be
Interesting.
completely
Like
honest
in the
with you.
playoff run.
In the playoff run. I think
Right.
it's going to be the biggest one.
Interesting.
I still believe we can lose this game.
Sure,
you know
sure,
what I'm saying?
sure.
But out of hardness and where we were going to see the most out of our team, it was going to be Minnesota. So if they come in and carry that same momentum into Vancouver and play that level, I think this is just going to be a walk in the park.
Interesting.
And I think I don't want to like toot my own horn or say that and stuff like that, but I just, the way that I see San Diego right now is just complete like total football.
Like
you know,
they're dialed in.
They're dialed in, and Vancouver is as well. They have a lot to fight for. I know what's his name, Sergio, or what's with the B? I forgot his name.
Berhalter.
I know he's on a crazy run.
Sebastian.
Okay. Sebastian
Sergio.
Berhalter's on a crazy run as well.
He's a phenomenal
lot
player.
of point to prove.
Yeah.
I think and you know what's also about Vancouver is I think this team is as disciplined and as connected as San Diego is.
I agree.
So it's just one of those things. Once again, we've played them twice.
Yeah.
First time, they were on a really big run. Milan scores.
That was Iloski,
Yeah.
the 4 goals, right?
Right, Iloski dominates.
Yeah.
Okay, second game we play them, we tied, and we had Tomas Angel as our striker.
Right.
So
That was a very different San Diego FC.
That was also different.
That was a San Diego FC where I think we were kind of not necessarily in the mud. What day was that?
I think it was in July.
Yeah, July was a little bit of a tough month for us.
Yeah.
Just because we had a very successful June calendar as well.
That's the one Pilsner scores in as well too.
Ian scored that game, so I think this is going to be an emotional game for him as well, right?
Right.
Where he's like, I scored my first goal for this club against this team, right? So I
Right.
think it's going to be good.
And I mean, we saw that game. It was a lot of back and forth. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Both teams were able to get on the scoring sheet. I think this is a very different, very, 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 very different San Diego, and just with that Breyer Pellegrino combination, I think it's
Something
going to be.
tells me Pellegrino is going to have a good game.
Yeah, I think a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these teams is going to have it's just going to be a good game. So
Because I remember the last time when we played Vancouver, we played a lot of the balls in from behind, and then Iloski made those runs in between those two defenders. And you saw him a lot of the times he had that one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So I think if Pellegrino does those runs in behind and kind of makes a run in between those two defenders, he'll isolate himself.
I agree, and I think with Tomas Angel last time, there was a lot of opportunities he did have in that Vancouver game, but just was too slow or too, you know,
Not on the money.
but not on the money.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you know, like I think it's just what's called, but I truly believe. I mean, depending on Miami or whatever, and that's just gonna be a different game half. But
yeah, I think New York, if y'all could do us a favor, that'd be cool. But yeah,
regardless, I think Minnesota was probably San Diego's hardest team in all of this in this playoff run.
Yeah, I agree. So, what do you think? So, all right, is it one of those where it's like if we just kind of man mark Mueller, then the whole kind of brains of the operation fall apart, or do you think it's a little bit more complex?
I mean, I think Mueller, I think he's just been added to this team just a super late, so it's not that. Of course, he can bring something special, so we should be worried about it. But I think if we focus too much on him, we lose the thing. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be going into this game like treating him like a son, where we isolate him. Mueller is never been the player that, what's it called? You know what I'm saying? That does the crazy runs or anything like that. He's going to be the one who does a good pass or this and that. A smart footballer.
Right.
So I think if we close everything around him, then he can't do anything else at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's
he can't
fair.
pass the ball to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you close everything else around him, which I feel like we will do, it's gonna be a hard day. And again, Mueller, top respects to him always. You know what I'm saying?
Phenomenal. Player.
But he did have a lot of good players around him.
In Bayern
and wherever he played before.
Yeah, only Bayern.
Oh, he only played at Bayern?
Yeah.
Oh, in Germany as well.
Right, national team. Right, sure.
I mean, he only had great players behind him.
Right. Yeah. No. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. I think it's one of those where I think you do make a good point. If we kind of nullify kind of the options around Mueller, then I think it really makes it a difficult mission for him to kind of unlock this game as well. I think another factor is going to be Sebastian Berhalter.
Oh, I know.
I think he has a big chip on his shoulder, right? Where I feel like a lot of people kind of doubted him, right? And now he's riding that top form right now, and I think he's going to be a really dangerous player that we play up against, because I don't think he was playing when he was in San Diego.
I don't even think he played against
Like the first time that he played, we played him.
Oh, we played the second time, and then
Okay.
I don't think he played the first time.
I don't. Yeah, I think it was that game. I think it was the first time that we played Vancouver in Vancouver.
Right.
I don't think he was in that game. So yeah, I think he has a big chip on his shoulder to kind of prove
Was
that
not.
he was not playing. So yeah, I think he has a big point to prove for. I think just not only MLS, I think for the national team as well, because I think he wants to play in the World Cup. So obviously, getting further as possible is going to help his case to get into that team.
100%.
But regardless of the fact is, I think this team, San Diego FC, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to play a really high intense game. And in the post match conference, Dreyer was like, "I'm ready. I'm excited." He was saying, "I'm excited for a high intensity game." So that's nice.
No, I think it's just like I said, Minnesota was one of those games that we like. Their pressure was on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But this, I feel the game is just gonna a little bit more breathing room.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit more flair, a little bit more fun. Both teams have a lot to prove, though. I know Vancouver is on a generational run as well too. I don't think they've been into the playoffs in a long time, or ever. I know Mueller is excited to be in Vancouver. Maybe that Canadian,
Sure.
you know what I'm saying, USA tax too as well. Trying to make up for the Toronto Dodgers, you know what I'm
You're
saying?
Drake and Kendrick beef again.
You know, but you know what I'm saying? That could be
Sure.
there, but it's gonna be one of those high, fun, intense games. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
No, it's not. It's not a Drake Kendrick. I'll say it's Drake and Lil Mar.
Or a little more, yeah. But it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be a really great game as well. So, guys,
Well, you know what's funny actually? Now that you said that, Toronto is a pretty big city in what's it called?
Okay.
In
Canada?
In Canada, right? And then
Okay.
LA is a pretty big city
Okay.
in California, United States. And then I would say like Vancouver is the second
my God.
to Toronto.
Okay,
And
very.
so, and what's
So
it
it's like the battle of the little cousins.
yeah,
is
yeah.
what
And
you're
then San
saying?
Diego is second to
Okay,
LA.
okay, I see what you're saying. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What did you guys think about the game versus Minnesota? How do you think San Diego coped with that 5 in the back, low block, park the bus, Jose Mourinho? And also, what do you guys think about the Western Conference Final versus Vancouver? Is Mueller going to be kind of that deciding factor to kind of move the needle a little bit? What do you guys think in this game? Carlos, closing statements, anything?
Yeah, I think just with the same mentality that Mikey Varas has instilled in everybody else, so this is like all of us, we've done our part, we've done everything we can as fans, as everything, shown out for this team as best as we can, Monday night being a night that everybody worked, had to work the next day, still showing up and putting in that work is just amazing, and this team has proven themselves to San Diego through and through and through, and I couldn't be any happier for this. So I think at the end of the day, whatever happens on Saturday, we owe this team a big thank you, a big love you, a big it has brought San Diego culture back to where it's always
Like
been.
San Diego sports culture.
Sports culture,
Right.
San Diego culture in general, right where it's been. It's brought so many fans out of the woodwork. It's brought so many communities together. What San Diego FC has done for San Diego is immense, has been great, will live on forever in San Diego. And we just have to thank them for whatever, and regardless of whatever happens Saturday. So I think as fans, we show up to the game Saturday with just happiness that we're there, and just happy that we're in this moment and remembering that we existed, and this is just the start of something amazing.
1,000,000%. Could have said that better myself. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Check out Norte.mx and SoFly hats because you'll need them for Saturday's game. Guys,
Yes,
thank you so
sir.
much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all in the next video. Ciao ragazzi.